What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the latest channel, where today it is good news. The pinnacle of motorsport is returning. That is right, this weekend we have the first of two Austrian Grand Prix, and today we're doing a cheeky preview for you guys. Everything you need to know, the favourites, those who could compete, and those who could really struggle, and everything else in between. Now, Austria, a very exciting race where more often than not, Mercedes have been brought back down to earth. Now, cast your minds back 12 months, and you'll remember Max Verstappen pushing out Charles Leclerc, both of them at just very young ages, to take his second victory in a row at the Red Bull Ring in front of his own fans. Now, Charles will be out for revenge, Lewis will be looking for his first victory here since 2016, and Mercedes' first victory since 2017. Sebastian's on his last year, it is all to fight for, and with the grid muddled up and with nobody knowing what to expect with the cars due to an extra 3 months out, this should be an excellent race to look forward to. Let's get into it. Now, first up, let's cast our minds back 12 months to the 2019 Austrian Grand Prix, when Max Verstappen beat out Charles Leclerc in a controversial overtake round turn 2. Now, whether we'll see that sort of drama once again, I kind of hope we do. We need a bit of action after 7 months away, but even if it isn't, I reckon it's gonna be a good race. Now, the big talking point is how will Mercedes perform? Even Toto Wolff has said Austria is not their strong point, with the long straights that suit the sort of Ferrari, and Max, who just always seems to be rapid around here. This is normally a very tight track where any of the big six could come out and win. Furthermore, we do not have a lot of evidence to base off on recent results, meaning we don't know who's going to come out on top. Now, we do have Catalonia from a few months back, but other than that, we are slightly lacking in information. Now, what we do know is, first out, Renault have brought in a number of big upgrades that will no doubt improve their car. Meanwhile, Racing Point, looking at the lower teams, will have come in with a top car for the upcoming season, meaning they'll feel like likely to be fighting with McLaren for those 6th, 7th and 8th spots on the grid. Meanwhile, for the big three teams, Merc are coming in strong. Also, they have DAS this year, for those that have remembered. That could give them the edge at a track like this in particular. Meanwhile, Ferrari had a poor pre-season testing and maybe won't be as competitive as people think. Meanwhile, Red Bull were fairly consistent, continuing to improve and catch up to the likes of Merc and Ferrari ever since the end of the V6 era. Now, for the favourites for the Grand Prix, I've got two men that I think will be heading up the track at the top. The first one is going to be the Finn, Valtteri Bottas. Now, he has said multiple times during this extended pre-season that he is feeling on the best form he has ever had, in the best shape he's ever been, and I think he may well compete at this Austrian Grand Prix. He's been quick here in the past, finishing 3rd last year behind Charles and Max and winning the Grand Prix in 2017. Another thing to consider, he has out-qualified Lewis 2 times in the last 3 years during qualifying, showing he has very strong pace around here. Meanwhile, the second man on my list, it has to be the last 2-time winner. It's Max Verstappen. I think this is a very good track for him, spurred on by the Dutch fans. Normally that would only be just across the border. Also, being the Red Bull Ring no longer gives him that extra bit of insight into the track. Also, he's a very quick driver, enjoys these kind of fast-paced races where he can really push his car to the limit, and maybe he is our number 1 for this Grand Prix. Mainly though, if he can get a good start and get on the front row and avoid trouble early on, I reckon he can win this race. Now, in terms of the rest of the top teams, let's take a look at what we've got. Last year, Charles Leclerc placed 2nd here, and I reckon he might be a competitive driver here once again. He likes the aggressive style, it's a fast track, it suits him maybe more than Vettel does, who's to be honest lost his head over the last 12 months, and we don't know what kind of strategy he's going to be going in with. I wouldn't be surprised to see Charles compete in his car. Meanwhile, they'll also be favouring him, let's point that out. Meanwhile, for Lewis Hamilton, as a 6-time world champion, you cannot discount him. He last won back in 2016, but with the experience that he has and the drive that he has, I think he still has to be a favourite going into the race. Enough attention on the top teams though, let's talk about these midfield drivers. Who's going to be on fire and who's going to struggle? Now, earlier I said that Renault, McLaren and Racing Points were my favourites for the overall season. However, none of them are going to be my favourites for this race in particular. And there's one big reason: the Ferrari engine. The Ferrari engine has always helped in races in the past, and I reckon it will pull through once again. And the two teams that helped out the most in the midfield, obviously, firstly, we have Alfa Romeo, who last year bagged their only double points finish at this race, and I reckon they can pull out a top result again. I mean, their drivers need it. Giovinazzi has to score points well this season, otherwise I don't think he'll get another year in the sport. Meanwhile, Kimi, well, he's reliable as always. And the second team with a Ferrari engine is Haas. Haas tend to do well at this track. Grosjean has finished 6th in 2018 and 2017 before finishing 11th in 2019. So although a poor finish last year, he's been fairly strong here. Meanwhile, it shows the car still has pace, because although you may say 2019 was a bad year, so you've got to say they've changed, Magnussen qualified 5th, showing they still have the pace around the track, even if he screamed at his engineer for an hour and a half. So that's my favourites. Let's do the strugglers. And last but not least, who we not see much of on the TV review? That's going to be the strugglers. And who are my people for this week? Well, obviously, first of all, we have Williams. Although it's been an extended break, I can't see them really being in the mix for points, particularly, especially at the early stage of the season. Anticipate Russell and Latifi being fairly near the back, although maybe Russell can cause a bit of a shock. He had a good race here last year and won in GP2, so I suppose this track has been nice to him. And the other team that I think will struggle more of a shock is Toro Rosso. This track doesn't really suit their sort of car. You can see that Kvyat finished 17th last year and Albon finished 13th. They've never scored points here since, I believe, 2017 with Carlos Sainz, so I can't see things getting much better this year. I think they'll be near the lower end of the grid. But that's all. Time for predictions. And finally, it's time for my predictions. Who do I think is going to win? These are the lockdown ones. So if you want to place your bets, don't, because I don't want to be held responsible. But this is my prediction nonetheless. In first place, I've got Valtteri Bottas. I'm going to back the Finn. I think he'll qualify on pole, have a good finish to the race, and run through fairly comfortably, to be honest, in the grand scheme of things. He won in Australia last year. I reckon he'll do it in Austria. They're fairly similar. Meanwhile, second place, Max Verstappen. Yes, I'm putting my two favourites, 1 and 2. I don't think any big incidents will happen for either Max. I think he'll qualify on the second row of the grid, avoid the chaos, be able to jump up a few positions. Again, fairly calm and work his way through the pack, maybe having a fight with third place to bank himself a silver medal and 18 points. And completing the podium, I've gone for Lewis. Now that may seem a bit of an odd choice, and I've kind of slandered him a bit, but I reckon the Mercs are still strong. I reckon Lewis is in tip-top form, and I reckon after qualifying second or third, maybe a bit of a scrap during the race in the early stages, he'll pull through and grab the final spot on the podium. Now, a couple of other results of interest. Charles Leclerc. Where do I think he'll be? In the barrier. I think he's DNFing. A bit of a bold call, but I'm going to go for it. I reckon he can be a little bit of a hothead at times. Reckon it may get to him after last year. I've got him sticking in the wall or some kind of issue causing him to DNF. Meanwhile, best of the rest, Daniel Ricciardo, the future McLaren driver, will finish 5th for Renault, and Romain Grosjean will pull out a shock result for Haas, finishing 8th. Now, that is all for today's video. I hope you guys have enjoyed. Now, I want to do this sort of thing more in the future, so if this does well, I'll do another one for the next upcoming Austrian Grand Prix, or I believe the Styrian Grand Prix is what it's being called. If you've enjoyed, leave a like. Also, subscribe. I'm trying to hit 100 subs. Thank you so much for the support on the Ballon d'Or video. That has done awesome. Let's hit 100 by my 18th in, I believe, 38 days or so. Until next time, peace. This point you're home, calling out from